What's going on, beautiful people? Happy New Year to y'all. It's been a few weeks at least since I've done a live. I've done a handful of little videos, but okay, you want me to make a left into construction? That's awesome. Well, I hope everyone had a safe and happy New Year's, or as best as could be, and Merry Christmas to anyone I didn't catch before. I hope all of you are doing well. It's been a while since I've done a live stream, and hey, Teresa, thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, Dan. So I hope everyone had a good weekend. Daryl, what's going on? And Jim Ketchum, I know you emailed me through my website, but I locked myself out of my website, so I couldn't reply, but thanks for checking in. Hey, KP, what's going on? So, in my brilliance, just before I went on vacation, hey, Miss America, I tripped. I got tangled up in my own seatbelt getting out of my truck, dropped my work laptop, and broke it. So I was leaving for vacation like 24 hours later. So I was like, hey, Joe, yeah, I don't have a laptop. So I have like 5 million unread emails and shit. And so the IT guy's like, well, we don't have it in the sales office, in the business office. You're gonna have to go to the operational facility. So I got a little road trip this morning to go pester my IT guy, who's a very cool dude, I might add. And oh, what are they doing here? We have all sorts of construction fun this morning. Well, I hope everyone had as good a New Year as one can expect. Actually rather quiet. I got to meet my oldest granddaughter, who is an absolute hoot for as small a little girl as she is. Holy crap, is she very alert. And apparently I'm grandpa stealth mode, because every time I came to play with her, I would walk up and I'd make a big circle so I didn't startle the baby. And I'd come up and go, hey, good morning, and she'd jump. Like every time. And then the second time I did it, she gave me this ugly look, like, and then she looks at me and I'm like, oh, you didn't like that grandpa startled you. Blotto and I didn't get hungover. Hey, that's not a bad thing. Hey, Red Leg, what's going on? Hey, Holly, who did I miss here? Daryl, Dan, no, I think I got everyone. It was nice. It was nice to take a break. You guys probably saw the video of Sedona, Arizona. God, we drove, in the course of 1 month, I think we did 2,200 miles and hit multiple states and multiple cities, multiple mountains, canyon. Probably drank way too much liquor, more than I should have anyway. But it was nice. It was fun. Hey, Farmer, what's going on? So, and that's kind of why I titled this video Taking Breaks, because it's so easy, not just prepping, but life in general, especially work. We're all guilty of this. We get very focused on work. We get very focused on caring for our kids, or maybe caring for a parent that's disabled, or you get so focused on that we forget to take care of ourselves. And you forget, add or subtract from the population, it's a success. True. Especially the subtracting part, because society frowns on that shit. If you subtracted someone from civilization, despite the fact that we all agree there are some people should be subtracted from society, and society as a whole frowns on people taking it upon themselves to do such things. It's usually recommended that we let other people manage it. God, this road sucks. I haven't driven this street in a hot minute. And, ooh, Rosa's Tacos. That's a good taco place. That's a big-ass taco you get there. Canadian Prep and Full Spectrum have already posted We're All Gonna Die videos. Really? We just started the year. What are we gonna die from? Honestly, to tell you the truth, while I was taking that little pseudo break, I was sharing some videos. I got a lot of road trip videos that I'm going to share with you guys, because I know not everyone gets to travel as much as I do for family or for business. So I like to share it so other people can see it from, firsthand, like my perspective, as opposed to, something from the visit beautiful McMuffin Town. The touristy videos aren't as fun as the, Pete was somewhat drunk and went through this area, and this is the video he took. That's way more fun. That's what I've heard. Yeah, we all do die some point. They already did. Wait, Full Spectrum Survival, is he the guy that at one point had this Sicario mustache? He's that like thin white guy with no hair, but he always looks like he's on cocaine. He's like, his eyes are, I can't even do it. That hurt my eyes. Like he always looks like he's constipated. Is that the guy? Like, I used to listen to him early on, and I'm like, okay, this guy's interesting, but then it just got weird. And I'm like, I can't listen to you, dude. And Canadian Prepper, I don't watch as much. I do, every now and then he'll make a really good technical video. I will give fair credit, Bug-Eyed, thank you, Holly. I will give him fair credit to Canadian Prepper. The quality of his videos, in other words, the video quality, the audio, the settings, the way he sets up his video area, like his stage, if you will, he's really good at that. Like, from a marketing perspective, I actually respect the guy. I think that's, his marketing skills are great. I do think, though, that in order to market product, he scares the shit out of people. And that I'm not cool with. I think that's a bit much. And you two cars don't fit there. Fuck me. That would have been bad. So I'm excited, though, because I got my drone, I got my GoPro on order, and I got a dash cam that I'm supposed to get next month. So now I'm going to have all sorts of cool videos to share with people. But a lot of closet cases. Yeah, no kidding. But all things considered, it's good to take a break. And somebody made a comment. I jumped into, it wasn't Hudson, it was Prepper Now's chat. During vacation, I just happened to turn on to kind of say hi to folks. And I jumped into one of Prepper Now's videos, which I like his because he's very analytical and very systematic as to how he presents his stuff. And somebody in there said, I like the analysis without the fear-mongering, because the channels of the way the comment went was, a lot of us are commenting on why we should prep, which is a good thing, but we're not actually talking about how, like the technical, and there's so many videos about how to do stuff. But that was a very valid point, and kind of backing away from the day-to-day news. It kind of made me think that wouldn't be a bad thing for a lot of us to do who are creators. It's just get back to some of the fundamentals of what we do, why we're doing it. And again, it's like a double-edged sword. You want to know what's going on current events-wise, because that kind of helps dictate what you do. But you can go down the rabbit hole and then completely lose focus on the actual prepping part. And like some of the channels you mentioned, everyone is reactive. Get pro. Well, exactly, Nunya. If you, for instance, and super secret squirrel stuff, I'm got a book at the publishers right now. I'm waiting to get feedback. But understanding the risks that you're facing in your area really helps dictate where you should prioritize. And from there, you can then turn around and say, okay, what else am I ready for? For example, I didn't explain that right. Let me demonstrate. Let's say you live in New Orleans. We all know New Orleans gets hurricanes, floods, and some tornadoes. It's mainly hurricanes are the big problem there, and crime. So, yeah, you do need to have more food and water. So you should prioritize as a prepper, which is what I was. I was a hurricane prepper for years before I became a general purpose prepper, but the step wasn't very hard because the food for hurricanes works for the zombie apocalypse, right? And I'm using it as an example, KP, because it's a sucky place to live. It's fun to visit. I wouldn't live there. I might if I own certain properties, but I wouldn't. Anyway, but how do you prep for a hurricane generically, right? You have lights, rain gear, food, water, meds, a couple of pews. A couple of 12 gauges in New Orleans, in that area, would do wonders if you can't afford anything else. 12 gauge is super cheap, right? But that works for a riot. That worked for the Rona, the same, right? Joe, if the chupacabras start running around and you stay at home to avoid chupacabras, guess what? That works too. So I think in trying to inform the community sometimes, and I've been guilty of it too, we kind of go off on these theoretical rabbit trails and you kind of lose focus on the fundamentals. Godzilla versus aliens. Well, wasn't that Rodan, the guy with the 3 heads? Wasn't he from outer space? And then Godzilla became atomic and zapped his ass. But after Mothra did her magic thing. But anyway, winner takes extra earth bread. Oh, I missed that con. Mothra, there you go. Hey, Tamara. So make sure you take a break from the stuff, because you can make yourself crazy. You can make yourself stressed out. To be honest, I look back at some of my videos from 22. I was worried about it. I wasn't really worried about the CBDC because there's really nothing we can do about it. I don't like it. But having cash is just a common sense thing, if you can do it. I was thinking inflation and supply chain, and in the first half of the year, we were right on both. In the second half of the year, I didn't expect the inflation to be such a big issue. I thought it would flatten out, and it did not. I also thought energy prices would take off, which what I didn't account for was the speed at which the US, Canada, and Mexico were able to increase production to make up for what Russia took off the market. And I knew we could do it, but I thought it would take longer. So that's why your energy prices kind of leveled off. Hey, Niels, what's going on? So it was kind of a mixed bag on predictions. And really, hey, good morning, Pilgrim. Happy New Year. In reality, I think 2024 is going to be the same. We can make predictions. It's going to be really hard to pick it out and say for sure. I do think the inflation is going to be a nagging issue going into next year. Now, the big wild card for this coming year is it's an election year. The fact that they're about to release a bunch of Jeffrey Epstein shit, when they said that, and this is my tinfoil hat getting put on, the minute they said, oh, the judges ruled they must release whatever, I don't know what the hell it is, for Epstein, I immediately said someone's going to blow something up to distract from Epstein, because it happens every freaking time. But thus far, nothing happened, right? Yet. We had an airplane crash in Japan that was not terrorism. It actually was a fuck up. A civilian 737 was trying to land, and the Japanese Coast Guard, they just had a massive earthquake. Japanese Coast Guard plane was trying to land, and somebody was having an issue, and the planes hit each other on the runway. Nothing will happen anyway. It'll just become, hey, raccoon eyes, it'll just become a big kerfuffle. But the two planes hit each other on the runway. That was an aviation accident. Actually, no one got hurt. A couple of people got burned. No one died. The Japanese fire response team was really on their game, so that really, really impressed me. Well, they don't go to jail, Nunya, because they can afford Johnny Cochran level lawyers, Hey, Tracy. Why am I stuck behind this guy? He has his blinkers on, but I can't get the hell out of the lane. And, oh, you're having an issue. All right, I don't need to mess with you then. Yeah, he blew out a tire. It's an 18-wheeler, but the flatbed 18-wheeler, and he's got hey, Sassy, what's going on? Uh, yeah, the Epstein List, I don't think it's just going to be a lot of political blah blah, because it's rare that any of them are going to get put in jail. Yeah, nothing, exactly. They might go after Trump again, because Trump's not a popular guy with the media, because he said bad words or whatever. They might go after Clinton, because everyone likes beating up Bill Clinton too. I'm like, there's two dumbasses, I don't care. I think the big thing for me, I think, is going to be the nagging inflation. I think that's actually hurting people. I actually ran the numbers on my own house, and using the same numbers, right? And I put, hey, B&Js, I put the interest rate I got, which was like 3 at the time, which was really good. And then I put the best interest rate I could get today based on some charts. And my mortgage payment nearly doubles for the same exact house, same exact down payment, all right? This was by a calculator. And I kept everything else equal. And that, I think, is going to be a problem. A lot of people can't afford that first home. They can't afford to get out of a apartment to go live, in their first house, to build that equity, to grow their family. And I think that, if anything, that bothers me more, because that kind of inflation will start to break things. That worries me, economically speaking. I don't think that, the Epstein List will come to anything. The Japanese thing, that was an accident. I will tell you, though, geologically, I'm kind of concerned, because that big front that hit California, which looked like a hurricane, all those waves almost reminded me of a tsunami that hit California last week, and all of a sudden Japan gets hit with an earthquake, day before yesterday? They're on almost opposite sides of the Pacific, so I'm kind of wondering what's going on there geologically, if the plates are moving, like the tectonic plates. But I need to read up more on that. Fortunately for me, I have a lot of friends who are geophysicists, so I'm going to go poke a few of them. I might bribe one with lunch so I can pick his brain about what he thinks is going on. And that's nature, right? That's the earth. In theory, we don't control that. Yeah, there were a lot of earthquakes, and it's been weird. There've been some bad earthquakes. I mean, we always have them. That's a normal part of Earth. But there've been some really nasty ones lately. But honestly, I think the inflation is going to be the big thing. Now, the big wild card will be the election. How ugly will it get? Now, I read an article that said neither Biden nor Trump nor Harris will be candidates, which actually would be really interesting if we had 3 completely new candidates, or 2 new candidates. It could be Godzilla too. Wasn't Godzilla like burrowed into an island in that last movie by the Philippines, and then the stupid tick monster went and attacked the nuclear power plant in that new Godzilla? Can't afford to buy a house. Remind me of people trapped in Mr. Potter's slums, and It's a Wonderful... Yeah. And that's the thing. Hey, Neil could be POTUS. Honestly, Neil, they'd be better off getting rid of any senator who's been there more than, 3 terms would be 18 years. So, you haven't accomplished what you meant to in 18 years, go away. And pick 100 random Americans with some kind of business or educational background or business background, private business owners, small business people, put them in Senate. Kind of like, how Israel calls up, everyone has to serve 2 years in the army. They should do, hey, Casey, everyone should, they should have a chance of taking some community leaders and community business people, sticking them in Congress. I think we'd get more done if we had people who actually had to live with the effect of what they put into law, right? Because when they did Obamacare, some people benefited, others did not. Congress didn't have to care about it because they have their own medical plan. So they're making laws that affect everyone but them. And that's kind of screwed up. Like all taxpayers will get a dividend check. Right. That would be great. That's what Kuwait does actually with their oil revenue, is they give money to the community and you have to contribute so much money back into a business. Like you have to contribute something to society, either as a nonprofit or as a small business. So it kind of, you get this check from your government, but then the government says you have to give back to your community. I mean, that would be not a bad idea. But yeah, guys, honestly, the big wild card to me, barring Putin decides to nuke Ukraine, or Israel says, YOLO and kicks the shit out of Iran, or vice versa, would be the elections. There are a lot of elections. The US, there are 2 or 3 in Europe, and they're all going to happen at the same time. There's a lot of narrative against people of religion, Christian, Jews, and Muslim. Anyone with traditional values from those Abrahamic religions, if you will, are taking a beating lately, and I'm not a fan of that. I mean, whether you practice a faith or not, that's a little bit concerning. But then they're letting, they're allowing people to abuse minors, and they're not going to jail. There's something very wrong there. But that's a whole nother rabbit trail. But honestly, folks, I would my advice for 2024, stay with your basics and stay on budget. If you can pay off your debt, if you have any. At the very least, make it smaller, right? If you have $5,000 in credit cards and you can make it $3,000 in credit cards, that's less risk from a business standpoint for you. It's less exposure. Hey, Orion, and anyone I missed in the chat. Obviously, I'm trying to make sure I don't have an accident on live stream. Pay attention to what the elites do. A lot of the guys like Warren Buffett, I like watching. A lot of the more high-end business people, the ones who have like whole teams watching the market, they're getting into a cash position and they're selling off what they don't need. You can do the same thing, right? You have stuff you don't need, repurpose it or put it up for sale. Facebook Marketplace, your neighborhood Facebook, you could do a yard sale. Turn things into cash and then hold on to the cash as much as you can. I think that would make a lot more sense than freaking out about the market. Pay down your debt, take care of your well-being, take care of your health for 2024, right? If you got to lose a few pounds, try to lose a few pounds. You need to take a few walks. Take the old dog, go for a walk. You think you're getting bored, maybe a little depressed, read a book, improve your situation. Right, liquidate. Right, don't accumulate unless it's something you can do. And don't forget to rotate your accumulation, by the way. I found a bunch of cans of green beans that technically expired in November, but I opened one and they were good. So I pulled them onto my counter and I'm going to go through those first. So we're going to be eating like a lot of, hey, book club, what's going on? We're going to be eating a lot of dishes that have canned green beans as a side. Hey, Vision, until I go through them all. But my recommendation for 2024, don't have a heart attack. Pay down your debt. Exercise common sense. Those of you who practice, Christian faith or one of the Abrahamic Abrahamic faiths. I can't speak today. Exercise discernment, right? If you hear something that's over the top, listen to it and ask yourself, is there something I can take away from this? Like the movie Leave the World Behind. I thought it was a well-done movie, and I took it as a movie that conveyed lessons. I didn't freak out about it. I did like the Easter eggs. I watched it again, and I found so many more Easter eggs in there. For instance, I don't want to give spoilers, so I won't say anything. There's a ship in the movie. Look up the name of the ship, historically. Hey, oops. And that's an interesting one. Also, the play on racism, inverted racism, and then redemption and people being mistaken about each other. There were some good messages if you get past the politics, and it wasn't too political. I thought it was well done. If you want to have fun, all right, I'm gonna recommend a movie mashup. Watch Leave the World Behind, Goodbye World, and what's the other one? How It Ends. But watch them in that order. And imagine it's the same event from 3 different perspectives. Because I actually did that by accident. I was bored the other day and I'm like, I'm going to watch Leave the World Behind again and look for hidden clues. And then I started watching the other movies because, once you watch like one apocalypse movie, it says recommended for you and you get more. And I kept watching and I'm like, wow, this would make like a great series if they were all interrelated. Goodbye World was good. But take lessons away. Tested an experimental nuclear-powered cruise missile. So the nuke-powered cruise missiles, I'll tell you, it's not super secret now. We were working on the hypersonics in undergrad in the mid-90s. The original I assume you meant the Red Dawn vision, not Red Fawn. That kind of sounds like an adult movie, Red Fawn. That's just funny. I know what you meant, but I read it on the corner of my eye. I'm like, what? That sounds terrible. The original Red Dawn was fun. It was also a little more realistic than a lot of what we see. Oh, God. That's going to pop in my head, Trent, like 2 hours from now. I'm going to be at lunch giggling to myself, and people will be like, this guy lost his mind. God. But take the movies as a lesson. Have some fun with it, guys, and teach people. I met my daughter-in-law's mom, her family, and it turns out her mom is a homesteader, and her mom's dad watches me on Fridays or so. Apparently there's like one day I do videos on a normal, and he jumps in. And he's like, oh, yeah. He tells my son, oh, yeah, your dad's the guy on the Roaming Prepper, right? And he does this, and that. And my son's like, yeah, that's my dad. He goes, oh, yeah, I watch him on, like, whatever day. And like, when he does that video about X or Y. And I'm like, okay. So, but I got to meet extended family now that are like-minded. And that was kind of fun. That was cool. I'm gonna have my daughter-in-law and the baby with us, and then my son after he moves over for almost a month. So she's already hit me up. She's like, I want to learn how to season the cast iron, and I want to learn how to make all the quick recipes. And she saw that I do Mylar, and she's like, we got to make the homemade bread. So if you can, take your knowledge and share it. That's part of the reason I do this, not just for all of us, but I'm hoping maybe one day my grandchildren will go back and say, hey, let's go watch Grandpa's video. How did he do that? Or maybe one of your grandchildren, who knows? Somebody will look at us later and go, wow, that's good info. Hey, Jason, shalom. So, but yeah, enjoy, learn, keep it pragmatic this year. We don't know what's coming on. That election, whenever there's election, people in places of power like to poke the system to cause disruption in their favor. I don't know if I said that right, but I'm sure you get what I'm meaning, right? A lot of people say no one's in control. Others say the elites are in control. I think it's in between. I think what we're getting caught in is power struggles between elites. Elon Musk does not like George Soros at all. Soros is not a fan of Buffett. They all play in the billionaires club. They do not all see eye to eye. All of them want to be king. I mean, think about it. All these egos, you think Bezos wants Elon to tell him what to do? Hell no. Hey, old mutt. I think we're getting caught in the power plays of, well, nobody likes Soros. He's a wrinkly creep. But he looks like the damn Crypt Keeper. And the Crypt Keeper, I think, had more charm than that guy. But they will turn on each other. They do. They fight all the time. Unfortunately, much like the peons of the ancient days, we're the ones who get caught in the middle. Oh. Sorry about that. Lost my phone. Oh no. Hey, there we go. Well, that was exciting. I hit a bump and my phone just flew out of my holder there. So I figured I should just get off the road for a bit. There was a parking spot to finagle that. But anyway, we're getting caught between more powerful people, and whenever there's an election, they like to disrupt shit in their favor. So watch for that kind of stuff. But honestly, folks, keep it pragmatic, pay down debt, keep cash if you can. If you can do those two things, that's good. Don't run up credit cards. I don't give a shit what the other channel said, and you guys know the channels I'm talking about. Do not. I mean, if you're gonna get a product and you're like, oh, you know, Pete has this link, or Trent has that link, or My Mother Spark has a link, and you want to support the channel and you're gonna get that anyway and it's budgeted, great, thank you for supporting any of us. But don't run up your credit card, because someone's going to collect that money. Contrary to what they say, they're like, oh, I'm still pissed that I saw, and I can't remember who did it. They put this thumbnail that says, max out your credit cards now because the system will collapse. That was 2 years ago. And the banks will always find a way to collect. I mean, you don't want to be exposed to that. You know what I mean? Don't increase your exposure to debt. And also be careful who you hang out with, right? Don't hang out with, hey, all-American, collect lead. Well, no, oops, they won't go to your house. What they'll do is they'll go to your bank account, or they'll tow away your car. They'll do something that you don't see until it's after the fact. But what I'm saying is, reduce your risk, reduce your debt, stock up on food, keep it basic, right? I really believe the inflation is going to be an issue through 2024. We already know it's an issue. Thank you, Neil. If you can get gold, and I saw Neil again, gold or silver, you can afford it, you can budget it, get some, it doesn't hurt. Okay, we've been trading silver since the days of Pharaoh, and the Egyptians and the Greeks and the Mesopotamians and the Phoenicians and the Romans and everybody, and it still has value. Unless humanity disappears, it's probably always going to have some semblance of value. Have that available, but if you can budget it, great. If you can't, don't. Keep it basic, keep to your fundamentals, and again, don't forget, he already put out a second video, are we all going to die? Ugh. I saw Daryl's comment. I'm like, really? So he put 2 videos in one morning? Does he just sit there and knock them out? Like, what is the guy? How do they do this? I have a freaking job. Like, I'm lucky. My schedule is all fucked up. Like, as it is, I think I crashed into Prepper Now the other day because I went on at like a completely retarded time that I never get on. I've been all over the map. I almost started a live stream, completely forgot what day it was. Trent was already live. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna crash into Trent. Like, how do they find the time to make 15 fucking videos in one day? I don't know. We're lucky we can knock out. See, one more red alert video thumbnail. Well, that's why I'll be honest with you, I have different thumbnails for different topics. So if I'm talking about the economy, I'll do the economy thumbnail and, you know, stuff like that. So I don't saturate people with, you know, little skulls and shit, because that really doesn't help anyone, right? You don't learn anything, and you don't know what the hell I'm talking about if everything looks like, you know. For that, I may as well just use a toilet emoji for all my thumbnails. You know, it becomes a bit much after a while. But anyway, folks, look, keep it basic, keep your fundamentals. Don't get involved with, sounds like my recent video. Nice. Hey, Red October. Oh, he has a red alert. I gotta go see the thumbnail now. Keep it basic. Keep your fundamentals. Don't panic. Don't panic buy. If you need something that's more expensive, hey, militant, budget it. Budget it in. Take the time to spread the cost out. If you have to put something on a credit card, budget in paying it off as quickly as possible. So you're going to spend, say, $600 on a credit card at, 20% interest rate. Pay $100 a month, be consistent, or $50 every 2 weeks, and knock it out in 6 months. The interest you pay will be very small. If you... Oh, was it full spectrum, Farmer? Yeah, and see that? Don't do that. Don't do that. That's terrible. Look, and you've seen my videos where I review something I may be affiliated with. I always tell you, go shop around. Get the best deal. You want to support? Great. But if you find the better deal somewhere else, get that. You know why? Because I would do it. Why shouldn't you? So, yeah, don't let them convince you to do something that's against your best interest. But, folks, yeah, medical debt's such a pain in the ass to get rid of, too. Because it's difficult. I actually need to do a video series. I know some great accounting people do a video on how finances work, because I don't think the narrative is listen to the mainstream media, and the narrative should be, let's educate ourselves on how the system works so that we can maximize our benefit from the system without getting put in debt. I don't know if that made sense the way I said it, but, and Joe, but, and actually I've interacted with New York Prepper. He's actually a really nice guy. I think he just has that one thumbnail because he's busy, and he's just like, but, yeah, but I've never heard him say, run up your credit cards. None of them do, except the couple that you mentioned earlier. Yeah, that's awful. That you don't do that. Don't run up debt. Don't. The inflation rate's gonna stay high. It's gonna be a pain in the ass. Buy your food in bulk. Preserve as long as you can. That's a long ass train behind me. Well, see, this is a problem because I have members of my family who are part Russian. I also have part Jewish members of my family, so it's been like we're really not sure who to cheer for because everyone is sad because nobody likes any of this shit. Daryl, hunt for sales, yes. So book club, to book club's point, before I let you guys go, you want to know what stores did not do well? Target took a hit, which they deserve because they're shitheads. JCPenney didn't do well, which is surprising considering their footprint. But TJ Maxx, Kohl's, Burlington Coat Factory, like the kind of value stores where you can search for goodies and you could get a deal, they apparently are making a killing this last quarter. So that is the loudest freaking train in the universe. Holy shit. Food hunt for slaves. Oops. But anyway, you could grow extra plants, try to sell them. If you make arts and crafts, if you know how to repair clothing, you know how to cook. In my neighborhood, there's a family, they immigrated from Monterrey, Mexico. Really nice family, they're here, green card, the whole 9 yards. Mama is an amazing baker. She's been making pan dulce. She's been selling custom baked goods in the neighborhood. And that's her side hustle. There's another family, a young couple. They have little kids. God, they must be maybe 30 years old, 35. They're younger than me. And he works and mom stays home with the kids. Her side hustle is dog sitting. And she's our dog sitter. And, you know, if we're gone for a few days, instead of putting them in a kennel, which will cost me $100 a day, if I'm gone for 5 days, it'll cost me, $500. I pay her a couple of hundred, and she watches them for 10 days. You know what I mean? Like she doesn't charge me anywhere near as much. She comes to the house, lets the dogs out to play and pee, and then she brings them back in. That's a great way to make extra money. Yeah, Gerald, if you can make pastries or food, I know one guy is doing, and I should do this too, resume workshops. He'll proofread your resume. I've offered people to proofread their term papers because I was a technical writer once, and I'd kind of give them advice and help them improve the papers. So picking up dog poop, hey, it has to be done. Nobody wants to do it, but if there's money involved, right? And let's teach the young ones how to do this. Stop talking about food. Well, dog poop is not food for me. Although my dogs may think it's food. Okay, see, I do catering. So, yeah, there's ways to make money. So diversify your income, pay down your debt, buy food in bulk, store what you're not using. So I get the 25-pound bag of rice. I'll dump half of it in my mason jar on the kitchen counter. The rest will go into Mylar. And that way I add, the 25-pound bag is $15-17 depending on where you get it. It'll take me months to go through that much on a day-to-day basis, but I preserve the rest. If a neighbor says, hey, I need something, I don't have to open or expose a whole bag. I can just go and bring one pouch as to the neighbor if they need it. So folks, diversify, but keep it common sense. Don't panic. Don't freak out. Don't do things that'll actually make yourself insane. Don't. It'll just you'll lose your mind doing that. And whatever you do, don't run up credit cards. God, that agitates me. I need to figure out, make a vid that says chartreuse alert. Don't tell me not to be insane. Well, no, I didn't say don't make yourself insane with that stuff. If you're already crazy, that's fine. But Joe's laughing to himself. I know he's laughing. I'm laughing because I've heard his laugh before. I'm like, he's tell me to be reasonable. But yeah, keep it basic, folks. And if you can pay down, yes, Gerald, pay down debt. If you can stack silver, great. If you can't fit it in the budget, at least have some emergency cash, enough for a couple of tanks of gas and a couple of meals at the local restaurant. And you'll stay safe. The one thing, again, with the election and the wars is idiots. You're going to have idiots who are going to lash out. Right now in Syracuse, New York, they're thinking somebody was trying to commit terrorism using an SUV full of gas, but he was an idiot driver and crashed into an Uber and set his car on fire and died. Unfortunately, he killed some of the people in the Uber who didn't deserve that. Like, the Uber people were trying to do the right thing by not drinking and driving, and they got killed by an asshole. But, yeah, diversify what you can do. And, folks, just put yourself in a position where you have options, where you can change plans and course correct as you go. Hey, backwards. See, there you go, backwards. That's a great way to make money on the side. You're not killing yourself. Keeps you busy, keeps you active, and you make a little bit of extra cash on the... I mean, think about it. $200 in a weekend, extra on the side, under the table, whatever. A couple of $100, there's groceries. That's, tank of gas, whatever it is. Maybe not $200, but there's a lot you can do. Hey, Freedom Nugget. That's a good question, and that I don't know. But folks, look, take the time, be calm. Don't freak out about heading into a heart attack pandemic. Now, Watchmen, that I'm watching closely because that's very interesting, seeing a lot of healthy young people get sick. See, 500 a week. So that's $2,000 a month. Yeah, that's a little over 20 grand. I mean, just raw numbers. If you do it consistently through the year, I'm sure it's a little hit and miss at times. But yeah, anything, hey Loretta, anything you can do will be great. Anything you can do to diversify, anything you can do to give yourself more options if something does go bad. But we don't know. I think the only thing we're guaranteed is this inflation is going to be a pain in our ass all year. Fuel may go up, maybe not. We may have riots, election. It's happened before, not a surprise. The inflation is going to be a pain in the ass because that's going to wear people down. It's going to make people dig into your preps. It's going to make people go into their reserves. It's going to make people spend money they didn't want to spend. And over time, it's going to hurt folks. So to me, less debt, a little bit of cash. Do what the companies are doing. They're selling off the unprofitable shit. They're stocking cash. They're working on free cash flow to make themselves ready for market movements. Do the same. And, have some faith, help each other out, and keep out of trouble. In any case, I got to jump down because my IT guy, in theory, should have my laptop for me. So you guys be good, be safe. Thanks for joining me this morning. And keep common sense. That's it. Just be cool and keep out of trouble out there. Jab reverse transcribes and inserts itself into the liver cells. Yeah, something's not right with that. I agree. But anyway, guys, pay attention to what's going on. Thank you all for joining me. And whatever you do, don't increase your debt unless you absolutely have no choice. Make yourself the smallest target possible. Be good. Hey, Lucky, you guys be good. Be safe out there.